Welcome to the Appliance Repair Academy. Today, we are replacing the door boot seal on a Samsung WF45R6100AW front-load washer. The door boot seal, also called the door gasket or bellows, is the large rubber ring that creates a watertight seal between the door glass and the drum opening. When it fails, water leaks onto the floor, mold and mildew build up inside the folds, and customers report a foul smell that never goes away no matter how many cleaning cycles they run. 3 symptoms that point directly to this part: water pooling on the floor in front of the washer after each cycle, a visible tear or hole in the rubber when you open the door and inspect the inner lip, and a persistent mildew odor even after running a self-clean cycle. Before ordering your replacement seal, look up the correct part number for your specific model and serial number from the manufacturer or a trusted parts supplier. Part numbers vary by model revision and region. Always confirm the exact number before ordering. This repair involves removing the door trim ring, releasing the spring wire clamp, detaching the old seal from the drum opening and the door flange, and carefully seating the new seal in the correct orientation before reinstalling everything. Follow each step carefully. A boot seal seated in the wrong orientation will leak from day one. Let us get started.
Before we touch anything, unplug the Samsung WF45R6100AW from the wall outlet. This is a 120-volt appliance. LOTO, lockout tagout. Unplug the cord, attach your lockout tag to the plug, and set it where you can see it. Do not skip this step. Here are the tools you need for this repair: a flat blade screwdriver for releasing and reinstalling the door trim ring spring wire clamp, a pair of needle nose pliers as a backup tool for working the spring clamp, a small hook pick or trim tool for lifting the seal bead over the drum flange if needed, a bucket and several clean towels. Residual water can escape when the seal is pulled away from the drum. Nitrile gloves to protect your hands from mold and any sharp metal edges inside the drum opening, a flashlight or headlamp to see clearly inside the drum cavity. You do not need a screwdriver to access the door boot seal on this machine. The seal is accessed by removing the door trim ring from the front opening. No panels need to come off for this repair. Lay all your tools out before you start so you are not hunting for something mid-repair.
Before you order any parts, confirm the boot seal is the actual failure. Here is how to diagnose it properly. Open the door fully and pull back the outer fold of the rubber seal all the way around the drum opening. You are looking for tears, cracks, holes, or sections where the rubber has gone stiff and brittle. Pay special attention to the bottom of the seal. That is where failures start most often because water pools there between cycles. Run your finger around the inside of the folds. If you feel slime, black mold, or debris packed into the folds, the seal has been compromised and likely has micro tears, even if you cannot see a large visible crack. Now check the metal drum lip itself. Run a lint-free cloth around the drum lip. If it snags, there is a burr or rough edge that must be addressed before the new seal goes in. A rough drum lip will tear through a new seal quickly. Note that location. Also inspect the door glass edge and the door inner panel for any sharp edges or rough spots that contact the seal when the door closes. If the leak only happens during the spin cycle and you cannot find a tear, the seal may be intact and a pump or hose connection needs investigation instead. A leak from the front of the machine during fill or tumble, that is your boot seal. Once you have confirmed the failure, look up the correct replacement part number for your specific model and serial number from the manufacturer or a trusted parts supplier before ordering.
Step 1. Remove the door trim ring to access the boot seal. The door trim ring is what holds the outer lip of the boot seal firmly against the front of the washer. It is secured by a spring wire clamp that runs around the circumference of the seal. You do not need to remove any panels for this repair. The trim ring is fully accessible from the front of the machine with the door open. Open the door wide and look at the front face of the drum opening. You will see the black rubber boot seal, and just inside it, the door trim ring sitting against the front panel. Running around the outer edge of the seal lip is the spring wire clamp. It looks like a metal wire loop sitting in a molded groove. Look at the bottom of the door opening. There is a gap or hook where the two ends of the spring wire clamp meet. This is your starting point. Insert your flat blade screwdriver into that gap at the bottom. Apply slight twisting pressure and the spring tension will release. Once the tension is off, work the wire clamp out of the groove all the way around the circumference with your fingers. It takes a moment, but it comes free without any cutting or excessive force. With the spring clamp removed, the outer lip of the boot seal peels away from the front panel. Work it off gently all the way around. Fold the seal lip inward toward the drum as you go. Do not yank. Pull evenly around the circumference to avoid damaging the seating groove.
Step 2. Detach the door lock and interlock switch wire harness from the boot seal. On the Samsung WF45R6100AW, there is a wire harness routed through the boot seal at approximately the 7 o'clock position, lower left, when you are facing the front of the machine. This harness connects to the door lock and interlock switch, which is the component that tells the control board whether the door is properly closed and latched before allowing the machine to run. The harness must be disconnected from the boot seal before the old seal can be fully removed. This is because the harness routes through a molded channel in the rubber body of the seal itself. The seal and the harness are physically threaded together. With the front lip of the seal peeled back, reach into the gap between the seal and the front panel at the 7 o'clock position. You will find the rectangular plastic connector for the door lock harness tucked into a molded pocket in the seal body. Press the locking tab and pull the connector body free. Never grab and pull the wires. Once the connector is free, carefully slide the harness out of the molded channel in the old seal. Take a photo now of exactly how the harness is routed before it comes fully free. You will route the new harness through the new seal the same way. Tuck the free end of the harness over the top of the drum opening so it does not fall back into the machine while you work.
Step 3. Detach the boot seal from the drum lip. The inner edge of the boot seal wraps over the drum opening lip and seats in a machined groove on the drum flange. On the WF45R6100AW, the inner bead of the seal sits in that groove without a second spring clamp. You simply pull the bead out of the groove by hand, working your way around the circumference. Start at the top of the drum opening, 12 o'clock. Grip the rubber seal bead with both hands and pull it upward and outward, away from the drum. Work your way around the circumference, pulling a few inches at a time. The rubber is stiff, so use steady, even pressure. Do not use a screwdriver or pry tool to force the bead out. Prying gouges the drum lip, and that groove damage will cause the new seal to leak at that spot. As you work your way down to the bottom of the drum opening, look for the small drain hole in the seal at the 6 o'clock position. Note where it is. The new seal has the same drain hole, and it must go back in the same position. Once the seal is fully detached from the drum lip, the entire old seal comes free. Dispose of it immediately. It is covered in mold and debris. Set it straight into a trash bag, not on the laundry room floor.
Step 4. Inspect the drum lip and door surfaces before installing the new seal. With the old seal completely removed, take your flashlight and inspect the drum lip all the way around. You are looking for sharp burrs, rust spots, bent metal edges, or debris caught in the groove. Run a lint-free cloth around the drum groove. If it snags even slightly, smooth that spot with 220 grit emery cloth, then wipe clean with the dry cloth. No oil, no lubricant. The drum groove must be clean and dry. Now check the door glass edge in the door inner panel. Any sharp plastic or metal edge that contacts the seal needs to be smoothed. Rough door edges are one of the most common reasons a new seal tears within months of installation. Inspect the drum groove itself. It should be clean, continuous, and free of debris. Use a dry brush or a short burst of compressed air to clear out any lint or fragments of old rubber. Look at the front panel opening where the trim ring spring clamp will reseat. Make sure that channel is clean. Debris in that channel means the clamp will not seat properly and the seal's front lip will gap and leak. This inspection takes 2 minutes. Do not skip it. A clean machine is the foundation of a successful installation.
Step 5. Orient the new boot seal correctly before installing it. This step is critical. Install the seal in the wrong orientation, and water goes straight to the floor on the first cycle. The new seal has a drain hole, a small molded port at the bottom of the inner fold. This drain hole must sit at the 6 o'clock position, straight down, when the seal is installed. If it ends up at the sides or top, water will pool in the wrong place and accelerate mold growth inside the fold. Look at the seal in your hands before you put it anywhere near the machine. Find the drain hole. Find the molded channel where the door lock harness routes through. That goes to approximately 7 o'clock, lower left of the drum opening. Some Samsung seals also have an alignment arrow or a molded raised bump on the inner bead. If yours has one, that marker aligns with a corresponding mark on the drum flange. Check now. Set the seal in your hands and mentally map where top, bottom, left, and right will be once it is seated. Top of the seal goes to 12 o'clock on the drum opening. Drain hole goes straight down. Harness channel goes lower left. Take 30 seconds to confirm this orientation before you start seating the bead. It is much harder to think through once your hands are inside the machine and the rubber is partially in place. Step 6. Seat the new boot seal on the drum lip. Always seat the drum side of the seal first. If you try to do the door side first, the rubber will not stretch properly and you will fight it the entire way around. Hold the new seal with the drain hole at the bottom, 6 o'clock. Starting at 12 o'clock, the top of the drum opening, hook the inner bead of the seal into the drum groove and press it firmly in with your thumbs. Now work outward in both directions simultaneously. Go right with your right hand and left with your left hand at the same time. Working both sides together keeps the tension balanced and prevents the bead at the top from popping back out while you work the sides. When you reach the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock positions, the rubber will start to resist. This is normal. Keep working with steady pressure. Use the heel of your hand, not just your fingertips. You need force to seat the bead fully into the groove. The bottom section at 6 o'clock is the hardest part. As you push that final section in, confirm the drain hole is sitting at the bottom. Press firmly until the bead snaps into the groove. Now go back around the entire circumference and feel for any section that has not fully seated. Run your finger along the groove edge and it should feel continuous with no gaps or lifted sections anywhere.
Step 7. Route the door lock harness through the new seal. With the drum side of the seal fully seated, now thread the door lock and interlock switch wire harness through the molded channel in the new seal. This must be done before you seat the front lip. Once the front lip is pressed against the panel and the spring clamp is installed, you cannot reach the harness channel. Retrieve the harness from where you tucked it. Look at the reference photo you took earlier. Feed the harness through the same molded channel on the new seal. The channel is at the 7 o'clock position, lower left. The channel is a molded tube or pocket in the rubber body of the seal. Gently push the harness through from the inside toward the front panel side. Once the harness is routed through the channel, reconnect the door lock connector. Press it in until the locking tab audibly clicks. Give it a tug test. It must not pull free without pressing the tab. Confirm the harness is not pinched between the seal and the machine body. It should lay naturally in its channel with no sharp bends and no tension pulling at the connector. Take a photo at this stage. The harness routing is the most common installation mistake on this repair, and it causes an intermittent door lock fault that can be very difficult to trace later if the harness is pinched or misrouted.
Step 8. Seat the front lip of the boot seal against the door opening.
With the drum side seated and the door lock harness routed and reconnected, pull the front lip of the seal outward and over the front panel door opening flange. Start at 12 o'clock, the top of the opening. Pull the outer lip of the seal forward and hook it over the front panel flange. Press it into position with your thumbs. Work outward from the top in both directions simultaneously. Right hand goes right, left hand goes left. Keep tension balanced. Work the sides down, then finish at the bottom. The front lip should seat into the channel on the front panel smoothly. If any section is resisting and will not seat, check whether the drum side bead has popped out of the groove behind it. Sometimes the rubber tension on the drum side releases a section when you pull the front lip. If that happens, press the drum side bead back in first, then return to seating the front lip. Once the entire front lip is seated, step back and look at it. From the front of the machine, the seal should sit flat and even all the way around the door opening. No sections should be bunched, folded over, or lifted away from the panel. Correct any uneven sections now by pressing them back by hand. The spring clamp will lock in whatever position the seal is sitting. Make sure that position is correct before the clamp goes on.
Step 9. Install the spring wire clamp to lock the front lip of the seal. The spring wire clamp locks the outer lip of the seal against the front panel of the machine. It sits in a groove that runs around the outer circumference of the seal lip. Take the spring wire clamp. Hold the two hooked ends together. Starting at the bottom of the door opening, position the clamp in the groove and begin stretching it around the seal in both directions simultaneously. Use your fingers to press the wire down into the groove as you go. The clamp will try to pop out. Maintain light downward pressure with your fingertips as you work around the circumference. When you reach the top, bring both ends together. The hook or overlap at the ends should now be under tension at the bottom gap. Use your flat blade screwdriver to press the hook ends together and lock them in the gap at the bottom of the opening. Once the clamp is fully seated, go around the entire circumference and verify it is down inside the groove, not riding on top of the rubber lip. If any section of the clamp is sitting above the groove, press it down with your thumb or the flat of the screwdriver blade. When done correctly, the seal front lip will be held flat and firm against the door opening with no gaps anywhere around the full circumference. Step 10. Inspect the complete seal installation before restoring power. This is your quality check. Take 2 minutes here and save yourself a callback. Open the door fully and look at the inner seal from inside the drum opening. The inner bead should be fully seated in the drum groove all the way around. No sections lifted, no gaps, no bunching. Run your finger around the drum groove edge and feel for any section of the bead that is not fully pressed in. Look at the drain hole at the bottom. Confirm it is at 6 o'clock and the small hole is open, not blocked by a fold in the rubber. Check the door lock harness at the 7 o'clock position. Confirm the molded channel is not kinked, the connector is locked, and the wire is not pinched anywhere between the seal and the machine body. From the front of the machine, look at the outer lip of the seal. The spring wire clamp should be visible as an even ridge under the rubber, continuous all the way around. The rubber should be flat against the door opening panel with no gaps. Now open and close the door 3 times. The door should close with a firm, solid feel, and the seal should compress evenly against the door glass all the way around. If the door feels loose or you see a gap anywhere when it is closed, find that section and reseat the seal before moving on. If everything passes, you are ready for the door switch verification and the power-on leak test.
Step 11. Verify the door lock and interlock switch with a multimeter before restoring power. After reconnecting the door lock harness through the new seal, confirm the switch is functioning correctly. This test is performed with the machine still unplugged.
Locate the door lock connector you reconnected at the 7 o'clock position. Disconnect it again for the test. The door lock and interlock switch on this machine is typically a 2 or 3 wire connector mounted inside the front panel near the door latch strike. Set your multimeter to continuity mode. You should hear a beep when the probes touch each other. With the door open, place one probe on each terminal of the switch. The switch should read open, no continuity, and no beep. This confirms the switch is correctly reading door open. Now close the door so the latch engages the switch plunger. The switch should now read closed, continuity confirmed with a beep. This confirms the door lock interlock circuit is intact. If the switch reads open in both positions or closed in both positions regardless of door position, the switch itself may be faulty and needs further diagnosis independent of the boot seal repair. When the test confirms the switch is working correctly, reconnect the harness connector, confirm it clicks locked, and you are ready to restore power. Only qualified personnel should perform live voltage tests on this circuit if further diagnosis is needed after power is restored.
Step 12. Remove the LODO tag and restore power. You have inspected the seal installation, confirmed the door lock switch, and verified no tools are inside the machine. You are ready to restore power. Go to the outlet. Remove your lockout tag from the plug. Store the tag back in your kit for the next job. Plug the Samsung WF45R6100AW back into the wall outlet. The machine will power up and the control panel display will illuminate. Do not start a wash cycle yet. You are going to run the leak test protocol first. Stand in front of the machine and observe. Look at the seal, look at the gap between the front panel and the machine body, and look at the floor. Nothing should be leaking. If you see water immediately after plugging in, unplug it once. There is a loose hose connection inside, or the seal is not seated at some point around the drum. If everything looks dry, you are ready for the functional test cycle.
Step 13. Run the leak test cycle. On the Samsung WF45R6100AW, select the rinse and spin cycle. It fills with water, tumbles, and drains without running a full wash. It is the fastest way to confirm the seal repair under load. Press power. Select rinse and spin. Press start. Watch the machine from the moment water starts entering. Kneel down and observe along the bottom edge of the door seal. Watch both sides of the machine and watch the floor directly in front of the machine. Water fill, no drips from the seal front lip. Tumble, no spray from the drum side of the seal. Drain, watch the area around the panel and the floor for any water coming forward. If you see a drip from the front rip of the seal, the spring clamp is not fully seated in that area. Note the clock position where the drip is coming from. After the cycle completes, unplug the machine, reseat the spring clamp at that position, and run the test again. A dry machine through the full rinse and spin cycle confirms the seal is correctly installed and the repair is complete. Before you close out this job, here are the pro tips that prevent callbacks and extend the life of the new seal. First, advise the customer to wipe the boot seal dry after every wash cycle. The water that pools in the bottom folds is what drives mold growth. A 30-second wipe with a dry cloth after each load prevents the problem from returning. Second, the door should be left open between loads. A closed front load door traps humidity inside the drum and the seal folds. Even cracking it open 2 inches eliminates the majority of mold growth between cycles. Third, if the customer uses single-use detergent pods, advise them to place the pod inside the drum, not in the dispenser drawer. Detergent residue accumulates in the seal folds over time and degrades the rubber. Fourth,
If the home has a high water supply pressure, over 80 psi, the pressure pulse at the start of fill can stress the seal and cause the bottom bead to unseat over time. A pressure regulator installed at the supply valve solves this permanently. Fifth, document the drain hole position in your notes. If this seal fails again within a year and the drain hole is not at 6 o'clock when you open the machine, it was installed rotated and pooled water accelerated the failure. Document the condition of the drum lip in your notes as well. If there was a burr you smoothed, note it. If the lip had a rough spot, note it. This protects you and gives the next technician useful history.
The repair is complete. The Samsung WF45R6100AW is running clean with the new door boot seal, correctly installed, the door lock harness routed and reconnected through the seal channel, the spring wire clamp fully seated, and the machine passing the rinse and spin leak test with no water at the seal. Before you leave, confirm the correct replacement part number for your specific model and serial number with the manufacturer or your part supplier if you have not already done so. Part numbers vary by model revision and region. Always verify before the next order on a similar machine. For your service documentation, reference the following. The Samsung WF45R6100AW Owner's Manual and Service Data Sheet are available through Samsung's official product support site. For lockout-tagout procedures, reference OSHA 29 CFR 1910.147. For electrical safety standards, reference NFPA 70E, Electrical Safety in the Workplace. For the full Appliance Repair Academy course catalog, covering all major appliance platforms, multimeter diagnostics, LOTO certification content, and practice exams, visit appliancerepairacademy.org. The door boot seal is one of the highest frequency service calls on front-load washes. Master this procedure and you will execute it confidently and without a callback every time. Good work today.